Welcome to The Know, I'm Brian. It's Friday, you guys. It's the weekend. Thanks for keeping me company these last 5 days while everyone else is at E3, so I appreciate it. All right, let's get to the news. Call of Duty fans are not happy about a change in the way DLC will work for Black Ops 4. That's because Activision is getting rid of individual DLC purchases for the game, and instead, all DLC will be tied to the Season Pass. So you basically have to buy the Season Pass if you want any of the DLC. On its FAQ page, Activision gave its reason for doing so, saying, "We're redefining the digital content season for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 by delivering more content with more frequency. In addition to the release of multiplayer maps, zombies experiences, and blackout content, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 players can also expect in-game content and themed events, creating a robust content season." But this has not sat well with fans at all, and there are numerous outcries online that Activision is dividing the player base before the game even releases. So we'll see if they change this, because it's definitely a problem with fans right now. Lots of gamers don't like loot boxes, especially in games like Star Wars Battlefront 2, which some fans thought had an excessive amount. But you know who's apparently cool with them? Reggie Fils-Aimé, the president of Nintendo America. In an interview with Bloomberg, he said loot boxes have gotten a bad rap, but acknowledges that other developers have, quote, made some mistakes when it comes to paid digital content. Reggie told Bloomberg, "Loot boxes, broadly speaking, have gotten a bit of a bad rap. The game mechanic of buying something that you're not sure what's inside is as old as baseball cards." He added, "What we believe at Nintendo is that a gameplay mechanic that offers the consumer something to buy that they're not sure what's inside can be interesting as long as that's not the only way you can get those items, and that's where some developers have made some mistakes. For us, it's one of many mechanics we can use to drive ongoing engagement in the game." Man, that is some CEO speak like a motherfucker. Of course, Nintendo games really don't have a ton of loot boxes, to be fair, when you compare them to stuff like Battlefront 2, so it's kind of interesting to hear Reggie defend them. There's been some question over whether or not Cyberpunk 2077 will be released on this generation of consoles. Well, its developer CD Projekt Red put those fears to bed recently, saying that the game will come out this gen. Game Informer asked Quest designer Patrick Mills if the game might not come to current consoles. He responded saying, "I've heard a number of people say that. The current console generation is what we're aiming for. We're aiming for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and of course PC as well." So there you go. No release date yet on the game though. Developer Rocksteady, which is well known for its awesome Batman Arkham games, skipped E3 this year. Now they're telling us why. Game director and co-founder Sefton Hill addressed the developer's absence on Twitter, tweeting, "We know some of you were disappointed that we were not at E3 this year. The whole team has been reading your comments, and all of us here at Rocksteady really appreciate your passion for our next project. Knowing how much it means to you keeps us inspired and energized to deliver a game that you will be proud of. We will share it with you as soon as it's ready." So definitely cool that they got something in the works. Maybe see you at E3 next year, Rocksteady? We'll see. The Last of Us 2 was one of the highest profile games at E3 this week, and its predecessor just broke some news of its own. The original Last of Us, which recently turned 5 years old, has now sold 17 million copies. Really impressive achievement, but also not a big surprise considering how good the game was. Naughty Dog said in a tweet yesterday, "Today is the 5th anniversary of The Last of Us's release. Over 17 million of you have taken this journey with us, and your love, support, and fandom for these characters and their story has been incredible. We can't wait to continue it with part 2. The Yoshi Switch game was noticeably absent from Nintendo's E3 presentation this year, and now we know why, because it's not ready. Nintendo now says that the game will not be coming out until next year. Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé told Polygon that Yoshi for Nintendo Switch continues to be in development, making great progress. The game was announced at last year's E3, and developer Goodfeel, which made Yoshi's Woolly World, is working on it. If you've ever wanted to get into For Honor, now is the time. The starter edition of the game is free currently on the PC. But you better act fast. The offer from Ubisoft ends on June 18th. The big difference between the starter and the full edition of the games, basically the number of heroes available. You will have to buy more if you just get the starter edition, if you want more heroes, but definitely a cost-efficient way to test out the game. For Honor also had a presence at E3. Ubisoft announced that an expansion called Marching Fire will release on October 18th. It adds a 4th faction and 4 new heroes, along with some new play modes for PvP and PvE, among other stuff. So what is the deal with the Final Fantasy VII Remake? Well, despite the fact that the game was a no-show at E3 this year, its director says that the long-anticipated remake is still in active development. The Verge talked to Square Enix's Tetsuya Nomura, who said that the game is not on hold. Nomura said the game is being developed, quote, in parallel with Kingdom Hearts 3, and is not just in the early concept stages, but it is in active development. He added that once Kingdom Hearts 3 releases on January 29th of next year, the team will devote more resources to Final Fantasy VII. All right, early tracking is in for AntMan and the Wasp, the latest MCU movie, and it is, forgive the pun, tiny. For a Marvel movie these days anyway. Box office analysts are saying that the data points to an opening weekend somewhere between 69 million, nice, and 80 million. And compared to the last 2 record-breaking Marvel releases, Infinity War and Black Panther, that is minuscule, but it's actually an upswing for Ant-Man. The last film opened at 57.2 million before going on to earn $500 million, actually more than that worldwide. Not bad, considering Ant-Man is kind of a minor league MCU character. It is a good sign that tracking is putting the sequel up substantially higher, and you gotta guess that a lot of Infinity War fans looking for some answers to what Ant-Man was up to while Thanos was kicking the shit out of everybody will be lining up to see this one. Ant-Man and the Wasp hits theater screens next month, July 6th to be specific. All right, to close things out, Fortnite's composer is going to be scoring her first feature film, and it is a doozy. Pinar Toprak will be composing the music for Captain Marvel. Not only is this a win for video game composers making the leap to the big screen, it's also an example of Marvel expanding the diversity of their creative roster. Captain Marvel will be co-directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, and stars Brie Larson as arguably the most powerful character at the MCU. Toprak's Fortnite work is energetic, it pumps you up, which makes her a pretty darn strong pick for Captain Marvel. We'll be able to hear her first big feature film score when Captain Marvel releases next March. All right, that is all the news we have for the week. What do you guys think of all these stories? Let us know in the comments. What games are you playing this weekend? Let us know in the comments. I'm finishing up God of War, going to play some post-game. I downloaded Hollow Knight, going to get into Ni no Kuni 2. That's me. Tell us about yourself. And for all your news from every corner of the internet, like this video and subscribe to The Know.
All right, hold on for a second. I just want to ask you, you literally wrote nice in parentheses.
That was Eric. That wasn't me.
Oh,
That wasn't me. Nope.
But you did that. You did that before. The last time it was 69. It was 69 something.